Alright, probably helps if I turn my mic on. Alright, probably helps if I turn my mic on. Alright, probably helps if I turn my mic on. Okay. Welcome to Pittsburgh Pirates franchise. If you hear a buzzing noise in the back, that is a fan that I have on my PlayStation. My PlayStation has started overheating a bit in the last couple weeks. I tried cleaning it out to see if that would fix the issue. It sort of did temporarily while I was working on rosters, but as soon as I started actually playing the game, it started overheating and shutting off again. So I've got a fan blasting on it right now. Hopefully that's going to get me through the next couple days. I have another PlayStation coming on Tuesday, but this is a launch PlayStation. It's got me through, several years now. I've played the shit out of this thing, and it might be in its final days at this point. But welcome to my MLB 25, the show franchise with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I am in day one of spring training. I am not going to play any spring training games today. This is all about going to be getting players extended, the ones that we want to kind of build around. It's going to be about setting our opening day roster and then playing the opening day game. I've already got all my settings set, but we do need to look at contract extensions first and foremost. The best player on this team and the guy that we want to build our staff around is Paul Skeens. So I, at the very least, want to get him locked through arbitration. What confuses me here is that, contracts don't seem to be correct. Because, let's see, Paul Skeens should not be in arbitration until 2027. So he's making he's making $800K this year. He's got a 1-year renewable contract and then 3 years of arbitration. But if I go to re-sign him, it's only offering me 3 years of arbitration. So I don't really know what's going on here. Anyway, I want to get Skeens locked up. Let's go 5 years, around $19 million. That'll buy out a year of free agency. We get a good run with him, then he's probably going to be looking at the cash in a giant contract at that point. This is really loud. That's annoyingly loud. How do I turn that volume down? Yeah, hopefully we perform well with Skeens. He might be looking to cash in a huge contract at the end of this when he hits free agency. At that point, we're going to have a decision to make on whether or not I might just bump it to $100 million. Yeah, I'm going to have to overpay a little bit, I think. There we go. At that point, I'm going to have to decide whether or not I want to trade Skeens. Oh, sorry, I'm back. How do I turn down the volume on that? I guess I can't. Whatever. Okay. You're just going to have to bear with me through this, I guess. Hopefully it's louder coming through my headset than it is actually in the stream. Jared Jones, we're probably going to do something similar with him. I don't know if I want to buy out any free agency years. I don't know, though. When he gets to free agency, he's probably going to make it the $15 million a year range. This is projecting $25 million a year when he gets to free agency. So I might stick on the 5-year window, 11.6. I think I could do it this way a lot faster. Yeah. Okay. He doesn't want to be in a long-term contract either, so I'm gonna have to overpay a little bit to get this done. Let's try 62 mil. Perfect. Andrew Heaney, what's he asking? Yeah, I'm not re-signing him for that. Burrows and Falter. Burrows might be pretty cheap. Mike Burrows. Yeah, let's buy that out. 2 years. Bailey Falter is probably a non-tender candidate. Yep, not paying that. Holderman out of the bullpen. Holderman's not a bad reliever. I actually kind of like him. I would do that over 2 years. I also like Dennis Santana, but the asking price is a little high. Let's take a look at what we got here. 2 years, $800K per year. That's something I'll absolutely do to buy out the renewable years. Maybe a year of arbitration, depending on how the contracts actually work. A little bit confused by that right now. They seem to be off by a year. Joey Wentz is a pretty solid long reliever. I would happily do that 3-year contract with him. At the very least, I look at Joey Wentz as a guy who's going to be some bullpen depth. He may actually make the opening day roster. David Bednar, where's he at? He's got 1 year of arbitration left. But this doesn't show that. Again, it just shows straight to free agency. But the asking price jumps up after year 1. So I'm assuming that is meant to be an arbitration year. Because it jumps to 6.5 after that. So I think that's just broken. I think the salary guide is broken. That's an arbitration year. Year 2 adds free agency. Bedard is a really solid reliever. Could probably get away with him in a closer role. 6.8 million. Pretty good deal, actually. Let's see if he'll take 20 over 3 years. Nope. Let's bump it to 20 and a half. There we go. All right, catchers. I got a few catchers here. Joey Bart hits lefties really well. Henry Davis, kind of a post-hype prospect at this point, 25 years old. Don't really know what he's going to be. Andy Rodriguez is probably the starting catcher against right-handed pitching. Very good chance all 3 of these guys are going to make the roster. Henry Davis plays a little bit of right field. Bart could probably play some first. I'm probably going to add that as a secondary position. Andy Rodriguez plays some first as well. Jason DeLay is basically just a depth guy. Let's see what the contracts look like on all of these guys. Joey Bart, I will go 2 years on him. Let's offer him about 6. Ooh, he doesn't really like that. Let's offer him 6.5. One thing I'm noticing here, and I don't know if this is just a contract extension thing or if this is just how contract negotiations broadly are going to be. There's no option to add option years. There doesn't seem to be an option to set a player's role. It seems very kind of bare bones. But he takes that deal. Let's try Henry Davis. Henry Davis looks like the first 4 years he's under team control. and then it's going to hop up who's going to be the free agent year. So I'm fine with that. If Henry Davis progresses and at 29 years old he hits free agency, we could think about bringing him back depending on what the contract looks like. But I don't think his ceiling is high enough at this point for me to start buying out free agency years. He wants a little bit of money. Andy Rodriguez is a guy that I definitely want to build around. Again, the 5th year is going to be into free agency, but I'm honestly okay with that. I think he's going to be the everyday catcher against right-handed pitching. So if I can lock him up for 7 years under $5 million a year, I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty good for a starting catcher. So let's try 7 years, 32 million. 32.5. 33. There we go. Jason DeLay, depth catcher, let's go 3 years. Just have him around his depth. Spencer Horwitz. Trying to think where Spencer Horwitz came over. I think he came from Toronto in a trade. Yeah. I cannot recall what Pittsburgh gave up to get him. What did Pittsburgh give up? I don't know. I might have to go to Google. Let's take this to Google. Spencer Horwitz trade. Okay. All right. He was flipped twice. He was traded. Part of the Jimenez trade. Okay, my cousin's watching and just answered. Yeah, he was in the Jimenez trade. He was flipped twice in one day. He went to Cleveland as part of the Andres Jimenez trade, and then the Guardians to the Pirates for a package of pitchers. Luis Ortiz, Josh Hartley, and Michael Kennedy. Luis Ortiz is a guy that I like. I don't really know much about the other two, but I think that's a good trade for the Pirates. I think he's hurt right now. But this guy mashes right-handed pitching. He's going to be the everyday first baseman to start off this franchise. Let's get him locked in. I mean, I'm willing to go 5 years at that price. That'll take him into his age 33 season. I'm super comfortable with that. Even if he takes on a bench role at some point, that's super valuable to have a bench bat as good as a Horwitz locked in for 3.7 per year. Let's bump it to 19, and he takes it. Billy Cook, just kind of organizational depth. I'm not going to re-sign him. Nick Gonzalez, he's really good contact hitter, not a ton of power. He might hit around 10. The plate vision's pretty good. Discipline's not great. He's a good fielder. This guy is a guy that I feel like I'm probably going to struggle to hit with. He probably profiles for me more as a bench bat that starts against left-handed pitching. So I am going to lock him up through his arbitration years and really nothing more. He's probably, unless he surprises me and I can really hit with this guy, he's probably going to profile as like a trade piece for me down the road. I got to overpay to get him. Ji-Hwan Bae is actually a player that I probably like a little bit more. Great versatility, runs well. He's about an average fielder, good contact skills, not a whole lot of power. But this is probably a guy that I'm going to like playing with, and he's probably going to start against righties quite a bit. So I am going to give him a 4-year deal, buy out all of his arbitration years. Going to try to get some of these guys locked in. cheap for the first, 3-4 years of this franchise. Some of these guys are going to be trade pieces, so that I look to add to the roster, and I've got a little bit of money to spend to kind of build this thing out. Frazier's not a guy I'm going to lock up, but he's probably going to play quite a bit. He's going to make the team. I'm almost sure of it. Jared Triolo, another guy who's kind of a good bench bat. He's got some versatility around the infield. Let's see what his cost is. I don't know if I want to go 2.4 million over 4 years, just because I think his role is going to be a little bit limited. He's not as good of a player as Nick Gonzalez, who does basically everything he does a little bit better. But I will go 2 years at 1.2 million. I feel fairly comfortable with that. Shortstop Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, pretty good defender, hits for some average, really good versatility. I mean, this is another guy that is kind of in a starter's role right now that really profiles better as a bench bat, and I am not going to pay him that in free agency. He's probably going to walk at the end of the year. Might be a guy that I look to move in a trade at some point. Leover Peguero. I'm struggling with that name. Leover Peguero. I might trade him just because I don't like saying that name. It's a mouthful. 68 overall. C potential. Hits righties pretty well. If I can bring him back cheap for a few years, I probably will do it. I'll do 3 years at 1.1. If he's a bench bat, that's not too bad for me. Alika Williams, a righty that hits righties and lefties pretty well. Decent defender. And this guy's pretty good organizational depth. I'll buy out a couple arbitration years for really cheap. Jack Suwinski. This guy I'm pretty excited to play with. He's not a great fielder. Runs fairly well. Great plate discipline. Has some strikeout in his game, but I'm okay with that. Not great contact skills, but big power against righties. He kind of reminds me of a poor man's young Kyle Schwarber. And Schwarber was a player that I used to rake with in MLB The Show when I played with the Cubs. So I think I'm going to hit the ball fairly well with Jack Suwinski. I think I'm going to get more value out of him than these attributes are probably going to equate to in terms of contract. So he's a player that I at least want 4 or 5 years out of. 5 years at 6.5 is a little high. 4 years at 5.4, I'm a little more comfortable with. Let's try 4 years, 22 million. That works. Nick York, he's another pretty solid bench bat. A lot of versatility, runs well, a little bit below average defense, hits lefties all right. I mean, I like having a few of these guys in the organization, but I feel like the Pirates organization is just filled with these guys, and I guess all I can do is hope that somebody busts out and becomes a little bit more. But I also just don't want to get stuck with an entire roster full of these players that are kind of ubiquitous. Tommy Phan's not somebody that I'm going to bring back past this season. O'Neal Cruz is probably the highlight of this team offensively. There is also Brian Reynolds, who's a really solid outfielder. I've played with Reynolds before with moderate success. Kind of reminds me of like an Ian Happ type player. But O'Neal Cruz, I feel like, has more upside. Hits righties really well. Has pretty good power against both. Some strikeout. in his game, but pretty good play discipline. Moving to center field this year, which I think is a better fit for him. Should be a pretty good outfielder. Runs well. This is a guy I think I'm really going to enjoy playing with. And it's going to cost some money to bring him back. Let's see what I'm comfortable with here. So, that's his last year of arbitration. This is his first year of free agency. There's a big jump. But I want O'Neill Cruz on this team, and I'm willing to pay $15.7 million for 5 years to do it. Let's see if he'll take a little less. Let's see if he'll take 77. 77.5, 78. There we go. We got it done. Josh Palacios. Palacios is a guy that excites me a little bit more than some of these right-handed hitters the Pirates have, because he's going to play in the heavy side of a platoon, meaning he's going to play against righties. That offers more value to me. 70 contact against righties is pretty good. 47 power is a little below average, but we could work with it. Decent fielder, runs okay. This is a guy who's a really solid bench bat, and if you have to play him every day, he's at least passable. So I do want to lock Palacios in, probably for 4 years. $8 million, that'll get it done. And Andrew McCutchen's just kind of there at the end of his career. I don't know. He's probably going to make this team for me, but I don't know if he's going to make it to the end of the season, especially if I'm able to bring in some bats via trade. He's probably going to get pushed out, which is sad, but he's had a good run. 38 years old, had some tremendous seasons with the Pirates. And that brings us to the end of contract extensions. Excuse me, I should probably take a drink. There's not much out there via free agency right now. JD Martinez is probably the best option. He'd be a pretty good DH. If I went that route, that would probably mean Andrew McCutchen is no longer on the team. If I thought this was a team that was going to contend right away, I might make that move because I think Martinez is a better hitter. But I think both of those guys are one-year options, and they don't really do much for me. Brian Sammons is out there as a 74 overall. Pitched a little bit with Detroit last year. I'm not blown away by anything he does. Not really somebody that I have to have. I might come back and look at relievers. David Robertson's out there. Zach Jackson. C.J. Edwards. I'm going to have to look at the roster and see what the bullpen looks like. I know there's not a ton of options here. I don't think I've discussed it so far, but as far as trades, I am going to limit myself only to players that get put on the trading block. I can only initiate a trade once they're on the trading block, so it's going to be a small pool of players I have to choose from to add. Otherwise, I could just go balls to the wall and basically build probably a top 5 roster before I even play my first game. That takes a lot of the fun out of it. So I'm going to limit myself to only players on the trade block. Let's see, I do need to look at my budget. Okay, so my total revenue is $138.5 million. Because it's a small market team, I'm due $26.5 in projected revenue sharing. My Current payroll is at 126.97 million, which gives me 42.99 million in available salary cap room. Um, there's there's a lot of room here to build off of. I've got a lot of these guys locked up to pretty friendly contracts, and there's some money coming off the books. So Andrew Heaney's 12 million is coming off. Kiner Falefa's 7 million, 5 million, 4 million. Like a lot of these guys on 1 year contracts, not going to be back next year. It's going to give me a little bit of money to play with to build out the roster at free agency. We'll see if we do well enough to actually be able to attract any free agents, any big time free agents. I know they supposedly altered the free agent process in this year's game so that players are a little bit more selective on who they sign with and are probably more likely to sign with contending teams and big market teams. So it might be difficult, especially if we struggle, to land a big free agent. But let's go ahead and start getting our opening day roster set. Now that we've got everything locked in, Skeens, Jared Jones, Mitch Keller are the easy top three in the rotation. Braxton Ashcraft. Oh boy. Excuse me. Braxton Ashcraft is probably a 4 or 5 starter. Throws a lot of strikes, but also gives up some solid contact. Oviedo limits homers really well. I like that. 81 pitching stamina. Ashcraft is just a 74. And there's Andrew Heaney. I kind of want Andrew Heaney in the rotation. Which means the number 4 spot is going to be sort of up for grabs between Oviedo and Braxton Ashcraft. And I think I like that Oviedo has better stamina. It doesn't allow as many homers, which means Ashcraft is probably going to be in a long relief role. Bubba Chandler is down here in AAA. He's probably a year away. Might crack the rotation late in the season if he's doing well in the minors. Hunter Barco. I mean, there's some depth here, but it's not really good depth. There's Xander Muth, who's a decent prospect. Brennan Malone's got a big arm. The closer is definitely Bednar. Holderman, Santana, and Blondinsky are probably the relievers. Let's see here. I don't think any of these guys are going to make the roster. Caleb Ferguson. I don't mind Caleb Ferguson, to be honest, but do I have a lefty? I don't. So if that's the case, this guy may not make the roster, and I might go... Because I want a lefty out of the bullpen. So let's send him down to AAA. And I want Ferguson to make the team. He's going to be my lefty. Lawrence does not make the team. He's going to go to waivers. I guess I got to look for a long reliever in here somewhere. Probably Joey Wentz. That gives me a second lefty out of the bullpen. Maiza doesn't make the team. Oh, I gotta designate Maiza for assignment. Okay. Shugart doesn't make the team. Okay, so Braxton Ashcraft is going to go to log relief. We're going to move him to a reliever. He's going to take a hit to stamina. It's going to go down to 41. And we are going to go +8 on all of these stats. So we're going to go to 63 on pitching clutch, 64 on hits per 9, 75 on home runs per 9. Uh, 66 on Ks per 9, and then +4 on walks per 9. So that makes Braxton Ashcraft immediately our best reliever, which really says something about kind of how limited this bullpen is. It's not a bullpen I'm going to feel super comfortable handing leads over to and feeling like the game's over. But Braxton Ashcraft as a long reliever, I think, is going to be a pretty good weapon. Still going to give up some contact, but at least the home runs per 9 have went up a bit. And he's still going to throw a lot of strikes. So that gives me 2 long relievers. I've got Ashcraft and I've got Joey Wentz down here. So I need one more. Thomas Harrington, I probably want to develop as a pure starter. Same with Bubba Chandler. Hunter Barco at 24 is an option to move to the bullpen. Mike Burrows at 25 is an option to move to the bullpen. And so is Bailey Falter, except I really don't want another lefty down there. I also really like Brennan Malone. I think I'm going to go with Brennan Malone. So let's move his stamina down. Let's get this up to 60, 61, 64, 67, 45. And let's see, where's Brennan Malone? He is a 63 overall reliever. But I think there's some things there to work with. And I'm hoping he's a guy that I can develop quickly. I got to add him to the 40-man roster. Is there anybody I can make a starter? Yeah. I basically just need to fill in some organizational depth at starter. So if any of these filler guys are able to start, I'm probably going to move them to starter. I'd like to do one more if I've got it. Tanner Rainey, Birch Smith, Schugert. Okay. Alright, that gives me 19 starters in the organization. Oviedo has to get added to the 40-man roster. I got a full 40-man, which means somebody's got to come off. I think that's a good option right there. So is Schugert. I don't think he's ever going to play for me. So let's remove him from the 40-man. Let's add Johan Oviedo. There's the starting rotation. Bullpen looks to be set. Let's get this all filled out. We will go Skeens, Keller, Jones, Edie. Oh, I got to send down Bailey Falter. I did not send down the relievers, did I? Joey Wentz. Or did I not send down starters? Yeah, there it is. Burrows goes down. Falter might be out of options. Yep, he's not. Okay. Now we should be good. So Braxton Ashcraft becomes my number 1 long reliever. My number 2 long reliever is Wentz, and then Brennan Malone. Middle relief, Caleb Ferguson. And Danny Santana. Well, Santana there. Holderman's the setup for Bednar. Alright, so now we gotta get the hitter set. Jason DeLay is definitely going down to the minors. 100% no question about that. I would like to carry 3 catchers if I could do it. We'll see how things shake out. Billy Cook is definitely not a major leaguer. He might actually be a DFA candidate if I need to add somebody to the 40-man. I actually like Derek Hall quite a bit better than I do Billy Cook. We'll come back to that if I need to do it. Jared Triolo, man, I feel like somebody here is not going to make the roster. And I haven't decided who that's going to be yet. I think ideally it would probably be Adam Frazier. But he doesn't have any options left. Brian Hayes is definitely the starting third baseman. Might platoon him a little bit. He's really, really good defensively, so even if he's not hitting against righties, he's still got some value. But there's not a whole lot of offense there from Brian Hayes against right-handed pitching. So it might be a situation where Adam Frazier is playing over at third a bit. Shortstop, I don't really have any options outside of Isaiah Kiner-Falefa unless I start Nick Gonzalez there. That is definitely a possibility. He doesn't really have the arm, I think, to be an everyday shortstop, but I might be able to pass him off there for a while. Same with Ji-Hwan Bae. He's got the arm, just isn't quite as good of a fielder as Nick Gonzalez. But I don't think Peguero's going to make the team. There's just too many guys ahead of him. Tommy Pham. I mean, Nick York is a better player than Tommy Pham at this point, and he's got more versatility. There's just no reason for me to put Tommy Pham on this roster. So he's going to get DFA'd. I'm at 28 players. So 2 players have to come off this roster. So now I've got to start thinking about individual roles. So let's go to lineups, and then we can take a look at who we're just not using. Andy Rodriguez is going to start against right-handed pitching. He's going to be the catcher. Brian Hayes is going to start against righties, but I'm probably going to give Frazier a lot of playing time there. Let's see, Josh Palacios. Jack Sawinski is definitely in the lineup. Not as a first baseman, though. As a right fielder. And Horwitz is the first baseman. Okay, so there's at least who's going to start. That's not the lineup, how I'm going to have it ordered, but that's who's going to start. Again, it's probably going to be a lot of time split between Bae and Gonzalez, Hayes and Frazier. So there's not going to be a whole lot of Triolo. Let's see what else we. It's a possibility that Palacios plays over Andrew McCutcheon a little bit. There's really no other spot for a lefty in the outfield. Reynolds is a switch hitter, Sawinski's a lefty, and O'Neill Cruz is a lefty. So Palacios is not going to play over any of those guys. But I would like to get him at bats, maybe at DH, or maybe even giving Reynolds some time at DH to give him some rest. So right now, kind of what I'm seeing is Triolo and Nick York do the same thing. So one of those guys is going down. York is 22. It might be worth it to send him down to the minors and give him some more time. Triolo's 27. He kind of is what he is. But he also has less positional versatility. He's not going to be able to play the outfield against lefties, and I kind of need that. So let's go ahead and look at what our lineup against lefties is going to look like. The catcher is Joey Bart, and at this point, I'm kind of seeing that I don't know if Henry Davis has a spot on this roster. I don't know where he's going to play. I like that he can play right field as well. I don't know if he's going to do it. Nick York is going to probably play right field against left-handed pitching. So the only spot that's open is first base. And that could be Andy Rodriguez. That could be Jared Triolo. It's not going to be Ji-Hwan Bae. It's probably not going to be Horowitz. I'm probably not going to play him against lefties. So I think it's probably going to be... Jared Triolo just doesn't have enough power for me to feel good about playing him as the first baseman. I just don't like that. But what are my other options? I don't really have any. I mean, I could make Henry Davis first base eligible. Because there's really no reason why he couldn't play first base. If you can catch and play right field, you can play first base. I wouldn't feel like that's cheating the system or anything like that. So, if that's the case, Triolo is out, and possibly Palacios is out. And then Henry Davis would make the team. And I think that's probably the move. So Triolo's going to AAA. And Josh Palacios is going to AAA. And I need to make Joey Bart first base eligible and Henry Davis first base eligible. Probably going to have to do first base outfield. I'm not going to play him in center field. He's not a good enough defender to play center field anyway. So it's basically going to be first and corner outfield, which is pretty reasonable. So, line up against righties. Who do I want to lead off? It might honestly be Andy Rodriguez. I might lead off with the catcher. Let's see. I like Reynolds there, but I also feel like I'm in danger of lighting up three lefties in a row, and I don't want to do that. So this might be O'Neill Cruz. Jack Sawinski third. Brian Reynolds fourth. Horwitz fifth. McCutcheon sixth. Then probably Hayes, Gonzalez, Kiner Falefa. And I'm not excited by Kiner Falefa at all. Oh well. Hopefully I can find a shortstop on the trade market early on in the season, because I do not like Kiner Falefa. He's not somebody that I'm going to want to play with a ton. Eddie Rodriguez is not in the lineup against lefties, so I need somebody else to lead off. But we're going to stick with O'Neill Cruz hitting second. Who would hit third in this lineup? This might be a Cabrian Hayes moves way up in the order situation. Maybe Cabrian Hayes hits third against lefties, or maybe even leads off. We might do that. We might just lead off Cabrian Hayes against lefties. I could see Joey Bart hitting third. Then maybe Nick Gonzalez, Andrew McCutcheon, Henry Davis, Nick York, Isaiah Kiner Falefa. I mean, this is not a super exciting lineup. I think it's gonna be a struggle to score runs early in the season. We do see we're ranked 15th. That's not bad. We'll see after we advance to the regular season. We'll see if we stay in that position. I don't think we will. I've got Jose Oviedo is now available to negotiate with. Yeah, I'm not paying him that. Sorry, dude. So he might be a trade piece. He might be somebody we look to move. If he really performs well, maybe I'll think that contract offer. But as of right now, I cannot commit to that kind of money for Jose Oviedo, who's a number 4 starter. All right, I think we are ready to advance to the regular season. We are the 24th team, so we did not stick at number 15. After everybody made their cuts, we are now the 24th ranked roster, 10th in contact, 26 in power. I don't like that at all. I like hitting with guys with power, so that's something we're going to have to look to add to the team. 12th in speed. I like guys that can run, but I'm not very good at stealing bases. I don't think that's going to be a really big part of my game. I just realized that I need to set sliders as well. Let's take a look. I am just going to carry over the sliders that I was using to finish out last season. There doesn't seem to be much change year to year. Solid hits up 1. CPU contact, I think, was up 1, maybe up 2. Yeah, I think it was up 2. Powers down 1. Solid hits. Up one. CPU pickoffs. Let's see, airs. Base runner steal ability. I had to turn way up because nobody was stealing bases successfully. Gameplay injury. I want up a tick. All right, I think we're good. Okay, so one thing I do want to check before I jump into this game is the waiver wire. I want to see if anybody interesting is out there. I gotta find it somewhere in these menus. Transactions, pending. Ben Lively, 33-year-old starting pitcher. I don't really need Ben Lively. If he was in his 20s, I might jump on that. But a lot of these guys are kind of at the back end of their career. Ramon Urias doesn't really do anything for me. Yeah, there's just nothing here. Sugar and Lawrence are on optional waivers. Tommy Pham, DFA'd. See if anybody's on the trade block. Nope. All right, so we're ready to go. Opening day. I do want to set my sponsorships. I've got a couple decent ones, so let's get those. That'll help us add some revenue and hopefully create a little bit more budget room to add to this roster and be able to re-sign the players that we do produce. All right, I think we're ready. I think we are ready. We had to advance a few days to get through like that opening series in Japan. So I want to check back in before I play this game. See if there's any pending transactions. Nobody's on the waiver wire. Anybody on the trade block yet? Oh, yeah. A lot of players on the trade block. Oh, wow. Jose Altuve. I'm not in the market for a 34-year-old player. I'm not really in the market for a 33-year-old player. Lawrence Butler is really interesting. I think I'm probably going to go ahead and play this first game before I make any trades, but Lawrence Butler is a player that I'm going to do everything I can to bring in. Casey Mize is another player that I'm probably going to look strongly at. I don't really see... It's mostly pitchers at this point. I think it's pitchers that didn't make rosters or at the back end of rosters. But, like, I don't see anybody who's going to be able to come in and be, like, my everyday shortstop. Ooh, I like Jefferson Caro a lot. I've got pretty good catching prospects. I don't know if I need to bring in a catching prospect, but I do like him. Dylan Carlson, Jared Serta. Okay. Let me take a look at what it would cost to get Lawrence Butler. What, in addition, this would be really... What this would do would probably be to push Brian Reynolds to DH, which means Andrew McCutchen not going to have a spot on the roster anymore. Now the question becomes, do I have anything interesting enough to the Athletics to make this trade work? Nick York moves the needle quite a bit. They're not super interested in shortstop. They are interested in third base, but outside of Brian Hayes, I don't really have one. Center field, same thing. Outside of O'Neal Cruz, I don't really have anything. I think Nick York is probably going to have to be the centerpiece. Okay, they seem to be kind of interested in Jared Triolo. I do have Tamar Johnson down here, who's definitely a needle mover, but he's also probably my future second baseman. I don't know if I want to make that trade. I've got extra catchers, but they're all playing right now, except for Jason DeLay, so I'm not moving one of those guys. Let's see, Dario Moreta did not make my team. They are interested in relief pitchers, but they don't seem to be super interested in the guys that I have. They do like Blodzinski, but he's locked up cheap for 3 years. That's probably why they're interested in him. Starting pitching, Thomas Harrington. Okay. So, I think the centerpiece of this deal kind of has to be Nick York. If I throw in a starting pitcher, maybe I can get away with it being Jared Triolo. That would do it. I'd have to give up Thomas Harrington, who I think is probably a number 4, number 5 starter in the future. What about Barco, Bailey Falter? Close. If I swapped out Triolo for York, that would probably work. Burrows doesn't work. Sullivan doesn't work. Solometo. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any other pitching prospects. It'd have to be Thomas Harrington. So the question is, do I want to do this? I think the answer is probably yes. Thomas Harrington doesn't really do anything spectacular well except pound the strike zone. And I feel like I could get that elsewhere pretty cheap. So I think this is probably the deal to make. I don't even know if I need to include Jared Triolo if I'm giving up Thomas Harrison. I might be able to... There's going to be somebody here that pushes this over the edge without me having to give up anybody really all that worthwhile. Melendez, Tommy Pham. Nope. So close. Hell, maybe it is going to be Triolo. They did say they were interested in relievers. I will say, like, even though I feel like I'm ripping off the Athletics here, they are making me actually give up a real player here. I'm not going to be able to just throw in a nobody. I mean, I think I prefer Emmanuel Valdez to Jared Triolo, though. Although Valdez is already declining somehow. And I keep Triolo. Yeah, I'll do that. We'll give up Emmanuel Valdez, Thomas Harrington, and Andrew McCutcheon to get Lawrence Butler. So we've made our first trade. We might come right out and make our second trade. Casey Mize is available. I think he is a pretty decent upgrade over Andrew Heaney, and we can almost make that work 1-for-1. All I need to do is probably throw in the worst player in my organization. So let's do that. All right, 2 trades right off the bat. I also really like Walker Buehler. I think he would make for a really good long reliever. But I don't think he's a priority right now. I think it's something that we come back to maybe later in the season if we're doing well. Same with relievers. I think I could really help out my bullpen. But I kind of want to see what I've got. Ooh, I like Adrian Morejo, too. I mean, there's some good relievers out here. There's some good relievers. All right, pitching rotation. So Casey Mize is going to slide in as the number 4 starter now. If we go to our lineup, Lawrence Butler is going to take over in left field. He's actually going to take over in right. So Winsky's going to play left. So now I need to rearrange this lineup a little bit because Lawrence Butler cannot be hitting 6th. So I had Andy Rodriguez leading off. Do I want to stick with that? Or do I want to go with maybe Brian Reynolds leading off? But again, Brian Reynolds is kind of the only guy who breaks up the line of lefties. So I sort of need him there. I mean, all I could do might be that, to be quite honest. Because I don't really see another option where I don't just have a line of lefties that teams are going to be able to just toss a lefty in and not have to worry about it. I guess that already exists to some degree with the top of the order. Andy Rodriguez is much better against righties. So they could just go lefty, lefty, lefty there. Maybe even just let the lefty face Brian Reynolds. I mean, I don't have much defense against that. But Lawrence Butler is an everyday player. I don't think there's any doubt about it. He's going to play right field. Hit 5th. Yeah, I like that a lot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play Lawrence Butler in this first game because he probably already played for Sacramento for the A's. So he's probably going to be tired. Those uniforms are kind of cool. I like those. So I want, let's see, hybrid, quick counts on, Skeens on the mound. We're facing Sandy Alcantara. So yeah, Lawrence Butler already played today because he's involved in that trade. So he's already pretty tired. So I'm going to have to give him the day off. Which means we're going to have to bring in probably Adam Frazier. Frazier could play the outfield too if I wanted to. Actually, I might do that. I might just let Reynolds DH and have Frazier play outfield. Horwitz is going to hit fifth. I'm going to have Frazier lead off. I'm going to have him lead off and play left field. Sawinski's going to move to right. Horwitz, and then we'll go with probably Brian Hayes, then Andy, then Nick Gonzalez, and Isaiah Kiner for left. Okay. Sorry, a lot went into that before we could go into our first game. Looks like the Marlins are starting a bunch of rookies against us. We see it is opening day in Major League Baseball, the flyover. I don't need to see it. Beautiful Miami, Florida. Pirates, Marlins to kick off the 2025 season. Oh yeah, Nathan says gotta grab Butler. Totally agree. Lawrence Butler is, I think, an incredible young player. He's already the team leader in OPS, home runs, and stolen bases by projection. Projected record 75 and 87. I'm hoping I can do better than that. I think there's some upside to this team, especially if I'm able to add to the roster as the season goes on. Here's Sandy Alcantara. This is another guy I'd like to see land on the trade block. I doubt he's going to. He's got a super team-friendly deal. He'd be wonderful to add to this rotation. And we're going to get things started with Adam Frazier. Ooh, I do not like that batting camera. Is it presentation? No. I think it's probably gameplay. Camera. Let's try. Yeah, that might work. Hard hit to short. Easy play for the first out. I still don't like that camera. I think I want zoom. Broadcast. Where's zoom? There it is. Yeah, I like this. I can see a lot better. 2-1 counts O'Neal Cruz. 3-1. Ooh, I was sitting fastball, but that was a good pitch on the inner half. I don't think there's really anything I could do with that except yank it foul. Oh, Shinberger. He recovers those the first in time to get Cruz. Line drive off his shin. He's going to walk it off. He's like, God damn it. Second batter of the season. I've already taken a line drive off the shin. Jack Sawinski. The numbers were not pretty in 2024. Looking for a big bounce back season here with us. Line drive, third base, caught. So we hit the ball hard a couple times, but we got nothing to show for it. A quick 3 up, 3 down. And now we're going to get a look at Paul Skeens. 1.96 ERA in 133 innings, 11-3 record, 0.95 whip, 170 strikeouts. It's going to be Otto Lopez leading off for the Marlins. Oh, what is this? Get that off my screen. Oh, no. Luckily, the computer ran over there to make the catch because I had no idea what I was doing. On the bench, Liam Hendricks, Dane Myers, Fortes, Maximo Acosta, Javier Sanaha. Okay. I mean, it's not a very good lineup. Not a very good lineup. Derek Hill's hitting second.
That's a ball.
Try to not fall too far behind here. Line drive base hit in the left. And the Marlins are on their board with the first base runner of the year. A single by Derek Hill. And that'll bring up Xavier Edwards. Lifts a blooper to right field. Long run for Sawinski. He's able to get there and make the play. Oh boy. First inning sneezing attack. Love that. Davison De Los Santos, rookie first baseman. 1 on, 1 out. And he rips the ball to third base. Easy play for Brian Hayes. Over to first in time. And the Marlins get a base runner, but nothing else. 0-0 after 1. Brian Reynolds, really the face of this franchise, DH hitting cleanup today. Takes strike 2 on a sinker hitter half. That's a tough location.
Ball, that's outside.
2-2. Oh, good pitch. Got me out in front. Out in front again. Curveball misses down low, full count. Spencer Horwitz on deck. Chopper to short. Easy play. And that'll bring up Horwitz. 1 out, nobody on. There's a sinker down low.
We got 2 balls, 1 strike.
Need to start getting into some hitters' counts so I can sit on the fastball. Ooh, just like that, but he threw a changeup. Line drive up the middle, base hit. It's a hard hit ground ball. And we got our first base run of the year, Spencer Horwitz, with a 1 out single here in the second inning. And that'll bring up Brian Hayes. Oh, that's a double play, ball to second. Second for 1, over to first, in time, double play. It was a sinker on the outer half, and we shot it the other way, just directly to Otto Lopez for the double play ball. Maybe I should have laid off of that. I think that was probably about all that we could have done with that pitch. And that'll bring up Jesus Sanchez, probably one of the more dangerous hitters in this lineup. And he takes a fastball to the opposite field. Frazier's going to settle under it for the first out. Reasonably efficient start for Skeens so far. Haven't really had to throw anything but fastballs. That would just missed outside.
Ball.
3-1 to Stowers. Ball 4.
Extra base.
Could get one over for a strike. It's the first walk of the season. Stowers runs reasonably well over at first base. Let's see if we can get a ground ball here and try to turn 2. Swung at it, fouled it off. Let's try a curve ball, see if we get him to chase. Nope.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Let's run that fastball up high. Too high. Ball 3. Let's go back to the sinker. Ooh, that was a tough pitch. He fouled it off. I'm going to go back to the curveball. Man, he is fighting off some tough pitches. Let's go back to a fastball up. Fights it off to the opposite field. Frazier's got plenty of room. He'll make the catch for the second out. That was a good at bat. Really good at bat by Griffin Conine. That's going to bring up Augustin Ramirez, rookie catcher. Start him off with a curveball. Woo, that got too much of the plate. It was hit hard, but he's very late. So let's go with a fastball, try to blow him away. Oh no. That ball is out of here. 2-run homer, Augustin Ramirez. And the Marlins take an early lead. I tried to sneak a fastball by him after he was late on the curveball, and he was all over it. He turned on a fastball up and in and just yanked it down the left field line. And that'll bring up Connor Norby, former Baltimore Oriole. And he lifts a harmless fly ball into center field. And that'll do it for the Marlins in the second. But after they had already jumped in front on a 2-run homer by Augustin Ramirez, a mistake pitch, a fastball up and in over the plate, driven into the left field bleachers. And we've got some work to do now, down 2-0 against Sandy Alcantara. Here's Andy Rodriguez to lead off the third.
2 balls,
Take
1
ball
strike.
2 away. Ooh,
2-2 count.
tough pitch. There's a line drive back up the center of the diamond that's going to hang up long enough for Derek Hill to make the play. And that'll bring up Nick Gonzalez. And that ball's well hit, deep right field, long run to the track. That is gone. Opposite field, home run for Nick Gonzalez. I did not think that was going to have the distance off the bat. It just clears the right field wall. And the Pirates are on the board. They've cut the lead in half, 2-1 on the solo homer by Nick Gonzalez. We talked about Gonzalez earlier, about how I was not sure whether or not he was going to be an everyday player for me. He was going to have to kind of prove it. And that's a really good start. Taking a sinker over the heart of the plate and driving it opposite field for a solo homer. And that'll bring up Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
Ball.
Soft grounder to first. De Los Santos over to Alcantara covering first. In time, it's 2 away in the third inning. And that'll bring us back to the top of the order. Adam Frazier grounded out back in the first inning. And he takes a ball down low, 2-1. Ooh, tough pitch. Get foul.
Nope. Foul ball.
2-2. Frazier's 1 for 8 this career against Alcantara. And 1 for 9 now with his 4th strikeout. But the Pirates are on the board on the solo homer by Nick Gonzalez. It's 2-1 Marlins after 3. Midway through 3, I should say. Otto Lopez to the plate. Let's try a sinker, run it down and in. See if we get him to hit it on the ground. Fouls it off. Foul ball. I wish I had a changeup with Paul Skeens, but he apparently doesn't throw one. Fastball over the hard out plate, lifted to deep left field, long run for Frazier. He makes the catch in foul territory for the first out. And that'll bring up Derek Hill. That ball's lifted into center field. Should be an easy play for Cruz. 2 away. And that'll bring up Xavier Edwards. And he lines one into center field for a base hit. Edwards runs well. Could be a threat to steal. That is the 3rd hit of the game for the Marlins. They got a dangerous base runner on. Davison De Los Santos to the plate. Runner's off. Throw to second, not nearly in time. It's an easy stolen base for Xavier Edwards. There's the strike on the outside corner. De Los Santos making his major league debut. The 2-2 count against Paul Skeens. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Two to 1. We head to the 4th. O'Neill Cruz going to lead it off for the Pirates. And he takes a slider down low for ball 2, 2-1.
Got 2 balls, 1 strike.
Ooh, circle change on the outer half, fouled away. Ball 3, circle change, runs outside, full count. Payoff pitch to O'Neill Cruz. Swing and a miss on a changeup down in the zone. 2nd strikeout of the day for Alcantara. And that's going to bring up Jack Sawinski. Swing and a miss and a changeup down low. I think Alcantara has found his swing and a miss pitch. I think it's the changeup.
That's a ball.
Sinker runs away, 2-2. Changeup outside, 3-2. Line drive, shortstop. Easy play for Edwards, 2 away. Had to protect. It was a sinker in the bottom of the zone. I couldn't take that. It probably would have been called strike 3. And it's 1-2 to Brian Reynolds. Line drive. Playable over at 3rd. And it's a quick inning for the Pirates. Really nothing going outside of the solo home run. Really no offense to speak of. Here's the projections for the Marlins. 69-93 is the projected record. Xavier Edwards is projected to lead in a lot of the key categories. Jesus Sanchez leads in home run and RBI, Edwards and everything else. And that will bring up Jesus Sanchez to lead off the bottom of the fourth. We're going to start him off the curveball. And he takes it for strike two. And he loops one into right field. That's going to be a base hit. It was a sweeping curve that didn't get in far enough, I guess. He was able to fight it off into right field for a base hit. And that's going to bring up Kyle Stowers. Lays off of a sinker away. Chopper up the middle. That's going to get through. Runner round second. He's going to hold there. It's a good arm out center field by Cruz. And it's first and second. Nobody out for the Marlins here in the bottom of the fourth. And the runners are going. We got a chance at third, and we got him. Jesus Sanchez tried to move up to third on the wild pitch. We were able to throw out the lead runner. The runner does move up from first to second. So it's a guy on second with one out. 2-1 count to Griffin Conine. And he lifts a harmless fly ball to left. Frazier backs up, makes the play two-way. And that'll bring up Agustin Ramirez. Ramirez hit a 2-run homer in his last at bat. And he swings through a sinker for strike two there. And he waves and misses at a slider away for strike three to end the fourth. So Skeens able to pitch out of a little bit of trouble, keep it at a 1-run deficit through 4. It's been a pitcher's duel so far. 5 hits for the Marlins, only 2 for the Pirates. And the Marlins lead 2-1 after 4 innings. And it's going to be Spencer Horwitz to lead off against Sandy Alcantara. And he tries to sit back on a change, but fouls it off for strike one. Sinker runs away, 2-2. Chop to second. Easy play for Otto Lopez. A lot of easy ground balls. The Pirates are not really threatening. There's a chopper up the middle. That's going to get through for a base hit. Brian Hayes was able to wait back on that changeup and chopped it up the middle for a base hit. Again, weak contact, but that one gets through for a hit. And that's going to bring up Andy Rodriguez. And he watches changeup run down and away for ball 2, 2-1. And it's a double play ball to short. Second for 1, over to first in time. We've had 3 base runners in this game, and 2 of them have been wiped out on double plays. The only one that wasn't was the solo homer. So as it stands right now, it seems like our only offense is going to be home runs. And probably the solo variety because we can't get anybody on base. 3-2 to Connor Norby. Three-two slider swung on and missed. A quick first out, third strikeout of the day for Paul Skeens. And that's going to bring up Otto Lopez, who takes a sinker down and in for ball 2. And curveball runs away, ball 3. We're going to have to pump a fastball over the strike zone here. I'm not walking out on Lopez. And he lifts one foul and out of play. It's going to be a full count. And we're going to come back with the slider. And he takes it for strike 3. 4th strikeout for Skeens. And that's going to bring up Derek Hill. Let's try to get ahead with that slider. There it is, strike 2. Now let's go up the ladder with the fastball. Oh, how did he lay off that? All right, let's run a sinker down and in. Yeah, it's lifted down the left field line. Long run for Frazier. He's there plenty of time. And that'll do it for the Marlins in the 5th. Still 2-1 for Miami. And we'll head to the top of the 6th. Flashback to the 3rd inning. Nick Gonzalez, solo homer, is the only run of the game for the Pirates. And he's got another chance here against Sandy Alcantara. 1-1 count. And that ball's ripped deep to right center field. That's going to get down for extra bases. Gonzalez is going to stroll into second with a leadoff double. And the Pirates are threatening here in the top of the 6th. Nick Gonzalez has been the big bat in this game so far. Opposite field home run, and now a double over the head of the center fielder. And it's Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. We could use a ground ball to second right now. Get that run over. And he's late on a fastball, 1-2.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Ground ball up the middle. Tough play for Otto Lopez. Over to first, not in time. Kiner-Falefa beats it out. We're going to have to take another look at that. I thought he was out at first glance. Otto Lopez really took his time with that. Oh, I think he was out. They are not going to replay it. Surprisingly not going to replay it. And there's runners on the corners. Nobody out for Adam Frazier. Soft chopper back to the mound. One play, it's only to first. Adam Frazier drives in the tying run on probably about the weakest contact you could possibly have. And runner moves up to second with 1 out. O'Neal Cruz to the plate. It's a brand new ball game here in Miami. Ooh, fastball runs up and in, ball 2.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Foucher and Bender up in the Miami bullpen. Alcantara at 86 pitches. And he misses away with a changeup. It's 3-1 to the dangerous Cruz. Jack Sawinski's on deck. Fastball up at the top of the zone, fouled away by Cruz. He was a little bit late. Full count. That ball's lifted. Shallow center field. Going to be playable for Otto Lopez. 2 away. It was a sinker on the outer half, and it was popped up over second base in the shallow center. Plenty of time for Otto Lopez to settle under it for the second out. And it's going to take a 2-out hit from Jack Sawinski in order to put the Pirates ahead. The 1-1 pitch from Alcantara. Taken ball low. Circle change. Sawinski ahead 2-1. Line drive, base hit into right field. The runner got held up and did not advance. Jesus Christ. This team's a mess. For some reason, the runner ran back to second base. And by the time I got him started towards third base, the throw was coming in and it was too late. So a base hit to right, the runner does not advance. And that's going to be it for Sal de Alcantara. I am frustrated that that was not a run scoring opportunity. It's going to be Jesus Tinoco. And Brian Reynolds at the plate. 2 on, 2 out. And that ball's fouled deep down the left field line. And it's going to be 2-2. Oh, that ran inside to hit him. It's going to be a full count, or it's going to be bases loaded for Spencer Horwitz. 1-1 count to Horwitz. A chance to put the Pirates in front. And that ball's lifted into shallow center field. Long run, but playable for Derek Hill. And the Pirates did about everything they could there without taking the lead. Skeens is at 91 pitches. He's probably not going to finish out this inning. Every single one of my pitchers is cold? Really? How does that happen? I guess spring training. I guess coming out of spring training, just everybody sucked. Sixth inning is probably going to go to... Fuck, I don't know. Ashcraft? I would like to get through the sixth inning if I can. Ball away to Xavier Edwards. And slider, swing and a miss, strike 2. Let's go back high with a fastball, see if we get a strikeout. And it's lifted into shallow left field. Long run for Frazier. Makes the catch. Shoestring catch. Keeps the speedy Edwards off base. That was a long run. And that's going to bring up Davison De Los Santos. I don't want to throw him a fastball. Let's try a curveball to get ahead. And it works. 1-2. Now let's run a slider down and away, see if we get him to chase. Yep. Strikeout for Paul Skeens. That's his 5th. And he may get through the 6th inning after all. This is probably going to be his last batter either way. Jesus Sanchez. 2-1 count. Let's throw a slider here, see if we can get him out front. It's a chopper to short. Should be playable for Kiner Falefa. Over to first in time. Paul Skeens gets us through 6 here on opening day in a 2-2 ball game. And we're going to head to the 7th. And we are no closer to a finish than we were at the beginning. Brian Hayes. Well, now... Oh, okay, the cold doesn't mean they're cold in terms of performance. It means they're not ready to come into the game. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, so I'm probably going to go the lefty to pitch the 7th inning. So Ashcraft is going to sit down. We're going to go with Caleb Ferguson. Brian Hayes to lead off against Jesus Tinoco. And missed that by a mile. Not even close. I thought that was going to be a sinker, and it was a slider running away. He went back to the slider even further away this time. He'll be able to lay off. Chopper to second. Should be an easy play for Otto Lopez. And it's a quick one away here in the top of the seventh, and that's going to bring up Andy Rodriguez. And it's a circle change that runs away for ball two. Would love to get Andy on. Ooh, tough slider down to the zone, strike two. And it's a sinker, runs up and away, ball three, full count. Nick Gonzalez on deck. And it is a sinker lifted foul, but it's going to be in play for out number two. And it's going to be nobody on, 2 outs for Nick Gonzalez. He's 2 for 2 with a homer and a double. Swing and a miss and a sinker up in the zone. Way late. It's going to be 1-2. And the slider runs way down low for ball two. Yeah, that's a better slider. Just off the edge of the plate, strike three. And the Pirates get nothing going in the seventh inning. We'll head to the bottom of the seventh, still 2-2. Caleb Ferguson's coming in. Had a rough season last year. 4.64 ERA, 1.49 whip. That's not going to get it done. We're going to need a better season out of him, but he's going to space 2 lefties to start this inning. The first being Kyle Stowers. We'll see if we can get him to chase a slurve down and away. There it is. Swing and a miss, strike one.